Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Meryl Stewart. I'm CEO of Marketing and Business Solutions. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about helping you start your business. I was reflecting over the past couple weeks a bit about, different people that have come up throughout my life, but also in the last 8 years of our business, who have been interested in starting their own. And they've had questions to ask about how did they do that? How did I do it? What should they do? So I want to invite you as we're talking today to please ask questions. If there's something that you're thinking about related to starting a business or an idea that you have, or maybe you're halfway in and halfway out, you have a job, but you're also trying to start something, please feel free to enter that in the chat section. And I'm happy to provide some feedback there. So, how did I decide to start my business? It was, I think, a big push from uh, uh, an opportunity and an event in our lives. I had spent a number of years in the for-profit industry and marketing, and had worked and learned a lot. Had also spent some time in the nonprofit sector doing fundraising and marketing and communications, and learned a lot. But I think that when I had our first child, um, priorities changed. My perception on the person that I thought I was going to be after having our daughter and the person that I ended up kind of growing into were a little bit different. And I found myself realizing before she was almost a year old that I just wanted to do something different. I wanted to be able to take the talents and energy that I had and apply it to multiple scenarios, multiple problems, solve multiple issues, and be able to use my talents that way. And it was initially a push from family that saw something I didn't. I was scared to death, but that they saw, look, you can do this. You have the knowledge, you have the skill set, you have the kind of the finesse in managing your own schedule and time, that you can do this and you can be good at it. It was still scary. And I was in a position, and I was also, trying to figure out, how do I start this business? So I bought a website name, I registered the company, I started outlining services, and but I was scared to take that leap. And a really great friend and colleague of mine, kind of put it very simply that you have to have your both feet 100% in. And, I had always heard kind of like when one door closes, another door opens. But this was more like, I can't be as successful and impactful as I'm hoping to be if I don't just take that leap and put 100% of my energy into that next thing that I want to build, because I'm always going to be diluted in the quality of what I'm providing to others and myself if I'm trying to be one person to one group and one person to another. So, I took the advice. I had lined up a couple clients to help with transition so that things didn't seem so scary. But it wasn't enough, to replace my income. It wasn't enough to keep me from worrying about that. But it was enough to give me, I think, the courage to believe that other people believed in me too. And so I jumped off the cliff. And I worked really hard on a couple things. One was I reached out to people that I respected to ask for their advice in helping me determine, where I should focus my services, where I should focus my energy. So I would recommend that, if you're thinking about doing something, that you really, ask around, do some research, talk to people that you respect, that are going to give you an honest answer about what it is that you're thinking about doing, and whether or not they think that there's also a need in the market, whether it's a local, regional, or kind of national or global idea that you have, so that you can get some really good feedback. The last thing you want to do is just launch something because you think it's a great idea and then find out after you've jumped off that cliff that it's maybe not so much a good idea, or that you really needed to think a little bit more deeply about it. Another thing that I did when I reached out to people that I respected was I just started planting seeds. Well, I'm going to refine this, but I'm going to do this. And so keep me in mind when you're working with clients or, you're in front of customers, if they have a need for these things, think about me. And so it was constantly planting the seeds with people I knew and trusted who knew me and my work ethic to help me start to build kind of that sales funnel or that business development funnel. The hardest part, I think, was really defining what I wanted to focus on. I think it's gotten even better in the last 8 years of us being in business, but in the beginning, it's kind of a crunch and a rush to take on anything that you can get because you're trying to replace income potentially. And we didn't have investors in the beginning. We didn't take out a loan. We didn't do any of that to start our business. It was really building from the ground up, reaching out to people we knew, reaching out to people that connected us with other people and pitching our services. And in the beginning, because there's so many things you can do under marketing, we took on anything, any project people would give us, even if it was, small little graphic design jobs, we would do it because, trying to build a brand and trying to build a reputation. But as the years have gone on, I think it's been an interesting journey to learn how to say no, to figure out what projects or types of clients are really not the ones that are going to benefit from the way that we do things, or strategies that we recommend, or implementation, guidance that we give. Sometimes they're just not ready for how we think or how we need to help them think, and so over time, I think you hone your skills more easily. But in the beginning, it was kind of a all or nothing scenario for us. And so, what I would recommend is that kind of save yourself a few years of trying to really hone in on who you are, and to create more brand awareness so that people know you for something and come to you because of that. And the quality is to focus on 1 to 3 things, and they could even be categories where we focus on these 3 things, and within those there's lots of potential services that are offered, or solutions that are offered, or products that could be developed. But that if you can kind of focus on 1 to 3 things, that it's probably more palatable for people to understand. It's definitely easier for you to explain if you're working on an elevator speech, but it also gives you focus so that you stay kind of um, in line with the intention that you set for who you are, what your brand is, what your company represents, and what you offer. The kind of next area, and I think this has continued to be an incredibly important thing, especially in our current economy and state of affairs. But business development is something that you can never let your foot off the pedal. I have, always believed that part of the strength of our business would be the people that we surround ourselves with. And some of those have included people that gave me advice in the very, very beginning, who are kind of my trusted circle of people that are going to tell me to my face if it's an awful idea or if something needs to be changed or developed differently. But business development doesn't stop. It's something that is integrated into every vacation that I've taken. Every time I reach out on LinkedIn or on Facebook or on any of our social media channels, I'm constantly linking up with people that I feel like could either help us promote our business in some fashion, or could help us connect with others that need our business. I've reached out to people, kind of in that relationship model. And I know I've talked a lot about that, but it is relational. And if you maintain really great relationships with people, I've found that it doesn't matter if you haven't talked to them in a number of years. If you've left things in good standing with them, and follow up along the way, then they're inclined to help you at pretty much whatever point you need. And it's expecting back what you give out. If you give out a lot of harshness and kind of aggressiveness in what it is that you're trying to accomplish, as opposed to being assertive and warm and solutions based, and somebody that, someone feels good about connecting with. When you do the better things, it comes back, and people will return the favor, and people will help you because you've helped them. So that's been something that's been hugely important to our business development. We haven't paid for ads. We don't pay for advertising. Almost all of our clients come from referrals from other clients, or referrals from people, professionals, colleagues, friends that we've developed relationships with over the years. And I think that's really important. I think it helps define our integrity, but it also helps um, for us to know that we're doing something right if people outside of us soliciting, help or customers or work, if there's other advocates for us that are out there telling our story too. I think it's a great testament to what we've tried to build in our company. So it's something for you to think about, what kind of direction you want to take, what kind of leader you want to be, what kind of energy you want to put out there for people to respond back when you need help. Um, as far as our kind of customer cycle, I will say that we're always working 3 to 6 months ahead on our business, if not more right now. On average, it takes about 3 months or so for a new client to come on board, and that's just counting for all the signatures, all of the approval, any presentations, whoever else needs to be convinced or shown that what we're trying to provide will help them. We say no to projects if they're not a good fit, and we do that even now when you would think that we'd be taking on everything we can. We try to be strategic. I want to feel just as good about working on a project as I want my client to feel about the work that we're doing. So, thinking about what that timeline looks like for you. Is it faster? Is it slower? But I would say put together a list. If you're just starting out, put together a list of 5 to 10 people that 5 to 10 people that you can tell that story to about what you want, where you're trying to go, what you're trying to accomplish, and how they can help. And I think the fastest way to get people to help you is typically asking them for their advice. Not just because it's a trick, which I don't believe that it is, but that you're really engaging them in conversation to help you. That it's a much easier way of doing it than sending an email and saying, I need help. I need, to connect with 5 new clients. I mean, it doesn't make anybody feel as excited about helping. So when you can reach out and ask someone for advice and take some of that advice, especially if there's someone you respect as a professional or a business owner or look up to, that's important. And then you got to surround yourself with people that are going to cheer you on. I'm lucky to have a great support system with family and friends who, for everything from calling me and telling me after one of these broadcasts that, I need better lighting or I need to sit in a different position or I need to shorten what I'm saying, to family who challenge decisions that we're making or directions that we're going, to people that are willing to just cheer us on and help make continued connections for us. So it's not a cakewalk. It's hard. I've, been blessed to have a number of clients that have been incredibly wonderful and worked on really rewarding projects, and we're hoping to continue that for a long time in the future. But when we first started, it was really defining why we were doing this. And as I had mentioned, part of it was just wanting to have the ability to use my talents and skill set across a broad spectrum with clients. But the other part was to just have ownership over our time. I wanna spend time with my kids, I wanna spend time with my family, and that's the part that I hold on to every time, I think, "Well, maybe I should just quit doing this and go get a job." Or, maybe a client says, "Hey, you did great work at this. Do you want a job?" And every time I start thinking about those, kind of detractors in a sense, I come right back to, "But what was the reason why we started?" And that's the part you have to hold on to when things get tough. That's the part you have to hold on to when everyone tells you that you can't do something. I had a friend who called, I don't know, a couple years ago, and was telling me that they wanted to start their own consulting business, and that the some of our conversations had inspired this person, and they said, "My friends keep telling me this is the worst idea. I can't do this." my, and my response was, "Well, then go get some new friends," because you need people that are going to help pick you up and keep pushing you along because they believe in what you can do. And it took a couple years for that person to kind of pull together their plan, but they've launched their business and they're super successful and they're super busy and we keep in touch and refer business to each other. So anybody can do it, but you have to believe in yourself. You have to surround yourself with the right people and you have to constantly be willing to grow yourself and your mindset and your skills. So I hope it's helpful for you. If you ever have any questions about, how to do this, where to go to sign up to start, what forms to fill out, what does a sample contract look like? Am I crazy? Please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share, more about our journey and growing our business and building it. But when we talk through different topics of advice for nonprofits, for profits, for small businesses, and everything in between. A lot of it comes from a place of experience, and we've done it for ourselves or we've done it for other people, and we just love seeing businesses grow and thrive, and you can do it. So, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments section. You can always go to our website www.mymabs.com. It's mymabs.com and check us out. But we're here to help. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.